This was not what this video was originally supposed to be. Originally, I had a huge plan. I was going to go and get a bunch of the newer Halo Mega Construx sets. I was gonna get some of their newest products and see how they've hold it up and what I've missed, since if you don't know, I used to do Mega Construx content originally. I wanted to see what I've missed over these almost 2 years of not collecting any Halo Mega Construx and see how it fares to modern day LEGO. And this is definitely not being sane because I'm spending all my money on the Indiana Jones sets, but more than that, I couldn't find any of their newest products. Their newest products seem to have fallen off the face of the earth, wiped from Walmart completely, not being restocked at Target anymore, and Amazon and eBay being filled to the brim with scalpers and people trying to scam you. And yes, I could have just gotten one of their older products and compared it, but I didn't feel like that would be a fair comparison, since the Mega brand has a tendency to rapidly change over a very, very short time span. And I'm not the only one experiencing this. Over the last few years, Halo Mega Construx has L+ fell off. It has fallen off the face of the planet and has seemed to have enraged a lot of people. And that's what we're talking about in today's video. This is the fall of Halo Mega Construx. First, we need a bit of a history lesson. So the Mega Construx company started all the way back a long time ago. Alright, it was a long time ago. As pretty much a answer to LEGO. LEGO is getting popular, so Mega Construx is made to compete with them. Contradictory to what I said in this really old video, to where I was like standing Mega Construx for some reason. Funny enough, that would be the last Mega Construx video I would ever make. But moving on from that, the company started as a direct competitor to LEGO, and its early days aren't that important for the video, but they did pick up one license that would pretty much carry them, and make them the big competitor to LEGO that they really were. Now, keep in mind, Mega Construx was no weapon. Instead of blatantly stealing IPs or product ideas from LEGO, they at least try to do their own thing with the Construction toy brand. You do have to remember that LEGO doesn't own the block toy, but it would be ignorant to say that Mega Construx wasn't made to compete with LEGO. But with the upcoming release of a little game called Halo Wars, the RTS Halo game, Mega Construx also picked up, or back then known as Mega Bloks, picked up the Halo Wars license and released their first Halo sets. These OG Halo sets are pretty old and don't really hold up to today's standards, which introduced the old articulation figure. These older articulation minifigures were very interesting. They had very limited movement and looked a little funky, especially these original Halo Wars ones. Like, look at the grunts from these original waves. Like, what are those? But these original Halo Wars sets were the beginning of the Halo IP for Mega Bloks at the time. The Halo IP would be what would carry their small company for a while, keeping them sort of relevant where they tried to compete with LEGO. But over time, they really became their own thing, especially with the introduction of the newer articulation. Those are the modern versions of the Mega Construx figures. These are the actual good figures with really great movability, basically small action figures. But, like, it was basically just small action figures, and it really was an interesting thing. Completely different from what Lego or really any other toy brand, any other block toy brand like Lego were doing at the time. Mega Construx was really doing their unique thing right here, and this is kind of where they stopped trying to be a direct competitor and trying to, like, really, like, deep dethrone Lego into just trying to be their own company for their own small yet loyal adult fan base that wanted to see more sets based off the Halo IP. It's also good to mention that they didn't just have the Halo IP, they also made Call of Duty sets, Game of Thrones sets, Borderlands even existed for a little bit. There was many IPs that they had. Most of them were first-person shooters, or shooters in general, like Destiny, which was another IP they had. And they all existed for a while. But here we have to move in and talk about the glory days of Mega Construx. To be a Mega Construx fan. This was the glory of Mega Construx in 2020. Now, 2020 wasn't just the glory days of Mega Construx because that's when I started my YouTube channel and started making Mega Construx content back in the day. No, it's not because of that. It was because after so many years of Halo being dormant, they were finally getting their next installment in the franchise, Halo Infinite. The brand new Halo game that was supposed to shatter records and just be game of the year is what it was trying to be. It was set for release in December 2020, which is where Mega Construx really started making their sets. This is where about a quarter of the Lego aisle in Target was just Mega Construx. Target wanted to bank off of the new Halo game, and Mega Construx was making a fair amount of sets based off this game. You had sets like the Banshee, the Desert Skiff, just so many cool sets that they had at the time. And this is where the Mega Construx community, at least in my opinion, peaked. You had people like the Domain and Demarcation Media getting a ton of views, and it was the most kind of like, it was the best time for the community, I would say that for sure. With a new game on the horizon and Mega Construx doing the best that they could, they basically had a lot of demand for their sets now. And this increased demand would end up being their downfall at the end, but we're not quite there yet. We have to also get through the 2021. Basically, in 2020, Halo Infinite got delayed a year to December 2021. And this basically kind of died down the hype for all of the sets, but there was still a decent amount of hype going into Halo Infinite in December, and even after Halo Infinite's release. But Mega Construx could sense the incoming disaster. At the beginning of 2022, Halo Infinite was at its peak popularity, but I think Mega Construx sensed a disaster, so they tried to switch over instead of just making exclusively Halo Infinite sets to trying to make sets based off of all of the Halo games. And the reason being is that very shortly after, Halo Infinite would fall off a cliff. The player base would be reduced to atoms. No more Halo Infinite. With the release of Season 2 of Halo Infinite, Halo would go back into a dark age and would basically completely die out. With barely anyone really even playing the game, hype would die down tremendously. And with Walmart cutting ties with Mega Construx and Mattel in general, that would also mean that it would be harder to stock their sets. Now, Mega Construx's quality never really went down. They were still making a lot of sets, and with pretty great quality, but the only problem was they were still making sets for a small audience when their audience was way bigger now. Which means that pre-orders sold out in seconds. It made the 501st Battle Pack look like it was on sale for hours. It was insane. And it basically made it impossible for anyone who wasn't a bot or a scalper to get their hands on these sets. And it would really cause an issue. With their newest release, no one has really even managed to get it. You can find it pop up for pre-order on Amazon sometimes, but other than that, it is almost impossible to find. It seems like Target has also stopped restocking Mega Construx sets, with their newest set releasing early 2022 or late 2021 is kind of sad. Imagine if Target's newest Lego Star Wars set was like the Mandalorian Fang Fighter back in 2021, or if it was like the 501st Battle Pack. That's the type of stuff we're looking at here. Not very good. It's almost impossible for anyone to find the sets, which has basically resulted in an angry remnants of a community for everyone who hasn't completely ditched the company at this point, and Mega Construx trying their best, or now just Mega, trying their best to keep up and not completely fall off the face of the planet. So with that little history lesson out of the way, that's a lot, right? That's a lot of history for the Mega Construx brand. And I think we have to move on to the legacy Mega Construx left behind for a lot of people. And what it really meant, because for most people, Mega Construx is just another generic Lego kind of competitor like Playmobil is. It's not much, but for a lot of people, Mega Construx was actually a superior form than Lego, and it's more targeted at adults, which is why like 90% of the Mega Construx fan base are actually full adults, which is very surprising to hear, assure you, from my Lego audience. Mega Construx went from a small company called Mega Bloks with weird articulation, very stiff minifigures that could barely stand up by themselves. Just barely stand up by themselves without any studs. Very simplistic figures here. Into something a lot more complex that stays in the hearts of, strangely, many people. Now, this might be strange to hear from an avid Lego collector who honestly collects way too much of this, of Mega Construx's biggest competitor. But Mega Construx does have a very special place in my heart and the history of this channel. The Lego's biggest competitor, and to some, Lego's biggest knockoff, is, weirdly enough, the reason why you're watching this video. Because if it wasn't for the one Mega Construx video I made all the way back in 2020 reviewing the Banished Ghost Russ, I wouldn't be here. I wouldn't have joined the Lego community. I wouldn't have made so many friends in this community. And I have to owe it all to Mega Construx. which is why I'm so passionate about this topic, which is why it is so sad to see what has happened to this company. That is it for this video, everyone. Hope you enjoyed. See you all in the next one. Bye-bye.